It's Big Board Sports with Roger Weiland on 104.5 The Team.
With the 19th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Kevin Huerter from the University of Maryland.
Welcome to Atlanta where the players play, and we ride on them things like every day. Big beats hit streets, see gangsters roaming, and parties. Little
Jermaine Dupri with Ludacris.
You used to spin this, didn't you?
Oh yeah, back in the Luda. When I went lunch with the oldies. It's all about Kevin Huerter. It's all about Atlanta. We got a musical accompaniment with that Adam Silver, the commish, announcing last night in that 9-ish range that Kevin is a member of the Atlanta Hawks, and he joins us here the morning after the big day. Good morning, Kevin Huerter, Roger Weiland, Chris Honorado. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
We're good, man. So,
sleep at all?
Yeah, let's talk about how was the after party after the announcement was made, and how are you feeling about everything this morning?
The after party was definitely a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends over to the house. Didn't go to bed too long ago, so at this point I'm feeling pretty good. And I go to Atlanta Sunday, so I'm just looking forward to that.
Is this a good fit for you? Do you like the fit when you? I know it was a little nerve wracking, and I can understand why. Even though you knew your name was going to get called last night, it's like, okay, when and where? When it came up, and it was Atlanta, and it was 19. Give me your thoughts from there.
Yeah, I love the spot. Everything I've heard so far is really positive. It's really a team that's kind of starting fresh. There's a new coach. There's it's a younger team, a team that is hungry to win. Wasn't as successful as I think they would have liked to be last year. Obviously, there was 3 picks in the first round this year, 1 pick in the second, so there's going to be 4 new guys ready to come in and make an impact. And, again, being in the Eastern Conference, being in Atlanta, it's a direct flight from Albany. That was something that we noticed pretty quickly after I was drafted, and that it'll be something that I think my parents will be able to get to a little bit easier than some of the West Coast teams. And being in the Eastern Conference, again, I'll be able to play more teams around here a little bit more often. And so right now I'm really excited and ready to get started.
Kev, do you know Trae Young at all? Have you interacted with him either just on Twitter or Instagram or whatever since you guys were both taken, or I guess Trae was traded, but taken by the Hawks? Do you know anything about Young?
So I was on his team for my under-18 USA team that we played in Chile.
Yep.
So from that, we knew each other. We played together before. But to be honest, since I got drafted, I haven't really answered any texts, look at social media or anything like that. So I got to start to do that this afternoon. And, we haven't had contact since we're both drafted.
Do you like the fact that it's you, Trae Young, and you throw in Amari Spellman, too, Villanova? A lot of good shooters, which is what this NBA up-and-down style has become. And it seems like, Kev, that this team, the Hawks, and you mentioned kind of starting over here, a little fresh start, didn't have a great year last year, but you're going to have a chance to go in there and get some minutes and play right away.
Yeah, that's the hope. And like you said, as when they drafted us 3, it's, I think 3 guys that can space the floor. Obviously, everybody saw this past year what Trae can do at Oklahoma. And, what I was able to do at Maryland and Omari with success of Villanova and his ability to shoot threes as well as, play inside. And so I think that'll be something that should be really fun to play with. Looking forward to figuring out Coach Pierce's offense that allows all 3 of us to, have a big part. But, there's guys there that are already really good and, a lot of good veterans, guys that have been in the league before. So going to go in and look to learn.
We're talking, of course, with Kevin Huerter, 19th overall pick in this year's NBA draft, a state champion at Shen, 15 points a game last year at Maryland, and now headed to the NBA. Kev, when you heard your name called, I know you knew it was coming from your agent, but when you actually heard your name called on television last night, you get to hug mom, you get to hug dad. What emotion is in that moment?
Yeah, in that moment, it was really a lot of relief. And my agent had said before the night happened that it was going to be one of the longest nights of your life. And we really sat down as a family and everyone kind of started really watching the draft around pick 6 or 7. And every single pick, it seemed like there's more energy. Every time my name wasn't called, there was a reaction from the people behind me. And everybody was just waiting for that moment I'd be picked. And when it finally happened, it was a big rush of emotions for sure.
looked like you held it together pretty well. I was like 50-50 on your dad. I interviewed him live on News Channel 13 at 6, and I left there. I had to dart out to go to my daughter's graduation, then back to the station. Chris and Ash were there covering the rest of the night. But I knew it was a 50-50 with Tommy, your dad, to maybe have a total meltdown. But looked like he held it together pretty well, too.
Yeah, he definitely did. And I was telling people before, I'm usually not a crier, but after San Antonio picked, I started to get a little emotional. I turned to one of my friends. I was like, man, I may cry. And when I got up and when they said my name, it was, there was a part of me that wanted to, and I was feeling something, but my dad held together pretty well. And, he's one of the strongest guys I know, so it's weird seeing him like that.
Why did you think, Kev, you might cry? I mean, look, you're among a very select few to get drafted into a professional sport of any kind. Why did you think this may be a moment that is a little rare for me?
Yeah, 'cause it was really a moment that I didn't expect really 5 years ago, and even 2 months ago to be happening this fast. Just with how quickly my stock rose and moved into the first round and became someone that was high on people's board. Again, it was some I didn't expect, some I'd been working for a long time, and as much as it's just the starting line, in a lot of ways it kind of felt like the finish line at that moment when I was called, where it was like, okay, everything you've done up to this point was for a reason. And so obviously having everybody there, I think if I was at the draft down in New York, I don't think I would have gotten emotional, but I think the fact that I was up here with everybody I knew, that's what got me a little bit.
But I don't think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I don't think you would change that part of it for a second, right? You were happy with the Edison Club and the entourage that you had there. You had everybody there that you wanted.
100%. I said that to my mom a couple minutes after I was called. I said, I have no regrets not being here, so I'm glad I did it for sure.
Kev, what do you make of the comparisons? And I'm not asking you to make a comparison for yourself, but this is the game everybody now wants to play is, okay, this kid coming out of college, he's a lot like player X in the NBA. And Trae Young has drawn the Steph Curry comparisons forever now. And obviously the GM of the Hawks, as you know, has a deep background with the Golden State Warriors. So if Young is getting the Steph Curry comparisons, I've heard you compared here over the last couple of weeks to somebody like Klay Thompson. When you hear that you are drawing comparisons to Klay, who's on a Hall of Fame track, what do you think?
It's high praise. And, Klay is someone that I've definitely watched the past couple of years and try to take a little bit of some stuff from his game, and especially with how successful they are. They're always on TV, so that's usually pretty easy. But everybody knows how great those guys are, how good they are together. They both kind of made a name for themselves with each other, being the original Splash Brothers. And so, the fact that we're both getting those comparisons, I think we're both going to try to create our own path. But I think those are two guys that, whether we try to want to admit it or not, are guys that I think we'd like to play like.
Kevin, press conference Monday, and then what? When will you be able to get on the floor, and what is the hand situation right now in terms of when you can start getting back and shooting and playing?
Yeah, so I'll go out Sunday, and I'll be out there with the team through Summer League, which is, as you know, in Las Vegas, and I won't be able to do that. Right now, I'm about 2 weeks out from seeing the doctor for the second time, and it was originally supposed to be 6 weeks of no basketball. I'm hoping it goes to 4 if I see the doctor in a couple weeks now. But I'm definitely itching to get back. And even today, it was an injury I was playing with for a while, and so it doesn't feel too much different right now than it did before I got the surgery. But I got to trust the doctor and not start shooting. But I'm definitely ready to get out there.
The rehab isn't going to affect you signing a 3-year, $6 million contract, will it?
Hopefully not.
I'd sign it with my toes if I was out of hands.
Well, I asked your dad.
My left hand.
I asked your dad last night. I said, "So who's flipping the bill for this thing last night?" And then I joked with him, jokingly said, I would just put it on Kevin's tab, and he laughed and he said, "Yeah, but Kevin doesn't get his first paycheck till November, so we have to pay that one off before then."
Yeah, I got a lot of IOUs there'll be a lot of those for the next couple months.
Sure.
I'll let my parents keep track.
Have you? I mean, seriously, have you thought of? I mean, it's all basketball, but have you thought about the financial end of this and the money end of this? Life change. Have you had a chance to at least sit and think millions of dollars that you're going to make playing basketball?
Yeah, I don't think that part has hit me yet, and that was really a big thought for me was staying in. I think maybe 2 days before I decided I would keep my name, and I talked to Tyler Lydon, who used to play for Syracuse, now a part of the Denver Nuggets, and one of the questions I asked him was, how life-changing is the money? Is that something that I can wait a year and just wait for next year? Is it that life-changing? He just kind of said, it was, and he has definitely made a couple purchases, but I've been lucky enough to grow up in a house that really any need and most of my wants were taken care of, and so I feel like I've lived a pretty good life up to this point that I'm not really thinking of the financial part.
Well, it was a pleasure being in the house last night covering you, Kevin. Congrats on everything. We're happy for you. And I still point out a 3-time member of our News Channel 13 All-Star team, so you can never forget that, Kevin.
Of course not. Of course not.
And Raj, you said, I mean, honestly, Kev, we're happy for you, man. But you come from such a great family. Tom, your dad, Aaron, your mom, and it was great to kind of see them all celebrate together. So congrats to you, man. Good luck.
Thank you very much, and thank you guys for having me on.
All right, Kevin, we'll be in touch. Have a great trip to Atlanta on Sunday, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the moment.
I will. All right.
Thank you, Kevin.